Every house has secrets. Some are just old stories, a loose floorboard, a crack in the wall, a forgotten attic. But sometimes those secrets are real, and they wait in silence until someone decides to open the wrong door. It began with an old bookshelf, ordinary, dusty, tucked away in a study that hadn't seen sunlight in years. Most would have walked past it. Nothing stood out. No carvings, no marks, no signs of what lay behind. Just rows of forgotten books. But one of them wasn't real. A fake spine, barely noticeable, released a soft click when pulled. And then the bookshelf moved, slowly, like it hadn't been opened in centuries. Behind it, darkness, cold air, a staircase that spiraled down into stone. No lights, no wiring, just steps carved by hand leading underground. It wasn't a basement, it was something else, something untouched by time. The air grew heavier with each step. Deeper meant older, and older meant forgotten. At the bottom, the tunnel opened into a cavern, wide, echoing, alive with silence. The walls weren't natural. They were shaped, smoothed, covered in symbols no one had seen before. But this wasn't just architecture. It was language, a way of speaking without sound. Messages carved in rhythm, patterns in the stone that told a story. And then the light changed. Not from above, but from beneath. Faint, blue, pulsating light, like veins in the ground. It moved, slow, alive. Not electricity, not fire. Something else, something ancient. It wasn't built, it was grown. The deeper into the city, the clearer the purpose. This wasn't a tomb, not a temple. It was a civilization, hidden, preserved, built beneath the surface of the earth by hands that no longer existed. A people who lived in silence beneath the noise of the world. They didn't build upwards, they expanded inward. Tunnels like arteries, chambers like organs. Every structure served a function: storage, power, gathering. But no weapons, no signs of war, only peace, precision, discipline. And then came the statues. Dozens of them, not gods, not kings. Figures in robes, tall, calm, eyes closed, hands resting over the chest. Human-like, but not human. The proportions were perfect, too perfect, as if whoever sculpted them knew anatomy beyond ours. Or maybe they sculpted themselves. A dome, massive, perfectly round, floating above a circular pool that never overflowed. In its center, a single pillar of light stretched from floor to ceiling. Still, silent, waiting. Around the base of the dome, inscriptions, not in any known language, but universal in meaning. They spoke of origin, of descent, of returning. They weren't just hiding, they were protecting something, guarding it from us. And that's when the realization hits. They didn't disappear. They didn't die. They retreated. Not out of fear, but by choice. Because the world above lost its way. And they knew it. This place was built with intention, not to be found by everyone, only by those who listened, who observed, who noticed the difference between a real book and a decoy, who questioned silence, who followed the cold breath of air behind an old shelf. There was no gold, no treasures, no magic keys, just knowledge. layer after layer, etched into the walls, stored in crystals, and coded into symbols. Everything designed to be read by the patient, not the greedy. They didn't want worshippers, they wanted witnesses. People who'd carry the message back, not to shout it, but to protect it, to keep it alive. Because truth, real truth, isn't loud, it whispers. Most people would have sealed the door, called it a hoax, taken pictures, left, and moved on. But once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You feel it in your bones, like gravity pulling you towards something larger than yourself. And now the question becomes, who were they? Not aliens, not fantasy, something closer. A branch of humanity that took another path, one that valued harmony over conquest, understanding over control. They saw the path we were on and chose not to follow. They stepped aside and built a world in the shadows. We always assumed underground meant primitive, but maybe underground meant preserved. We build to be seen. Skyscrapers, satellites, monuments, proof that we existed. But they built to endure, hidden in silence, surviving every war, every collapse, every mistake we repeated. They didn't want to be remembered. They wanted to last. And maybe we were never meant to find them. Maybe opening that door was a mistake. Or maybe it was time. Because the world outside is cracking, systems failing, truth blurred. And deep underground, their light still shines, steady, waiting. They left us a choice, not in words, in structure, in silence. They showed us how to live without telling us how. And that's the real message. Not domination, not salvation, but awareness. So now we face a different kind of discovery, not about what's behind the bookshelf, but about what's missing from ourselves. Discipline, focus, purpose. In their silence, they say everything we've forgotten. The design of their city is a blueprint of a balanced mind, order, calm, strength without arrogance. And maybe that's why they left, because they knew the world above wasn't ready. But they didn't close the door. They left it unlocked, waiting for someone, not just curious, but worthy. Not everything lost is meant to be found, but some things find you. Behind the bookshelf was a passage. Through the tunnel, a civilization. In that civilization, a lesson. Not loud, not obvious, but powerful. And once you've seen it, you carry it with you. In how you think, in how you see the world, in what you choose to build. Because the real secret isn't the door, it's what you become after you walk through it.